It was the summer of my 8th year. My mother came up the steps and she said to me, "Miriam, you're going to summer day camp this summer." I didn't want to go to summer day camp this summer. I was a total introvert. I did not want to hang out with kids. I didn't like people. I didn't like hanging out with them. So I said to my mother, "Look, I have all these books on my counter here. I got them from the library, and my plan is to read them all this summer." She looked at me and pointed, "You are going to summer camp." Now, my mother invented her own unique version of beast mode well before Marshawn Lynch was ever even born. And I knew when she had that attitude going, I had no options. I was going to summer camp. I dreaded that first day. I remember getting on the bus, just trembling. I remember the ride, and I remember getting off the bus and not knowing what the heck to do. But I soon found out that they had a horse stable there. Now, I was a complete introvert with people, but I was also a complete extrovert with animals. I was friends with every cat and dog in the neighborhood. I knew what they all thought. They liked me, I liked them, and I couldn't wait because I found out they had a stables there, and I couldn't wait to ride horses because I've done that too. So we had horseback riding every 2 days of the week, and I rode different horses and really loved them. And I enjoyed the riding, had great fun. And then there was this one day, it was my chance to ride the best horse, a gorgeous Appaloosa named Sport. And I go into the corral, and I noticed something was off about this horse. Kind of had an edgy vibe. Its mane was all messed up. And I asked one of the counselors, "Is this horse okay? Should I really be riding it?" And they said, "Sure. That horse has been ridden several times already this morning. Just get on up." So I got on up, sat on the saddle, and I could tell this horse was not happy at all. I tried to soothe it. I pet its flank. I whispered in its ear, "It's gonna be all right." And I started riding around the corral. And it was okay at first, but then suddenly it just started bucking and trying to throw me off, and I didn't know what to do except to hold on, and I tried as hard as I could, but then it threw me. I went up and up in the air and started falling, and I fell, bang, right on my back, right on the hard gravel. And I remember looking up into the gray sky, and I thought to myself, this is it. I'm gonna die. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk. I thought my entire body was just broken. And then suddenly, I could breathe a little. I could breathe more. I could take a deep breath. It hurt, but I could move. And I slowly realized I could move and that my body wasn't broken. And I got up, and I realized all these people from the camp were running towards me, and they circled me, and they said, "Boy, are you brave." And one girl said, "Oh my gosh, you didn't even cry." And I really couldn't respond to any of it. I didn't feel brave. I just responded to whatever was going on. And then I was ushered into this office, and a bunch of papers were thrust at me, and I started to look at them. And the counselor said, "Oh, you don't have to look at them, just sign them." But I did, because I was a curious kid. And I noticed there was all this language about waiving our rights to, legal protection. I thought, But my mom had always told me that responsible adults always had our best interests at heart. So I signed it. And they didn't call my parents. And I thought, what's with that? So I got home that night, told my parents what happened about the horse, not about the papers. And my dad's response was, "You gonna get back on that horse?" And I thought to myself, I don't know. I said to him, "Yeah," because I just didn't want to have that argument. But I thought, it's not the horse, it's the people. They're maybe really not there in my best interests. And I had to think about that. Skip a couple days forward, and we were at this little petting farm that they had. And there was this cow that I really loved at this petting farm. It was black, and I loved petting it, and it liked being pet. And suddenly we were being lectured about the cuts of meat. And the counselor was using the cow as an example, and he pulled out this huge piece of chalk, and he starts putting the cuts of meat on the cow. And I'm thinking, this guy is not to be trusted. And I was really scared, but I knew I had to say something. And I was this little introvert, but I couldn't let this go on. I suddenly had realized that not all people are in our best interests. And I ran up to where he was, and I said, "You can't do this to our cow. This is our friend." And I started wiping off all the chalk. And I thought, oh no, now I did it. This is the end for me. But suddenly, I heard one kid clap, and then another kid clap, and then more kids clapping, and I realized, oh my God, they believe me. They believe what I think. And I had, always been scared of speaking up, but this was where I learned about courage. And I also realized that I could make friends with those people, I could influence people, and that was my first chance at practicing activism.